In my head,
your head.
I say that's a crazy idea.
Okay.
I would never do that. That's like,
You should probably do it.
I will do it.
It's easy to get stuck in the isolation and think, well, this is all there is. There's other creators out there, but they don't really want to work with me. If it inspires even one other person, it's like, dude, just the simple act of us getting together to do this can have such far-reaching effects and ripple effects.
Just for that fact, we have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sheran.
Hi, my name is Ben.
And this is the Creative Odyssey podcast.
We're here to talk about the creative process.
The good,
the bad,
and the ugly.
But more importantly,
we're here to create together.
Whether you're a creator, a dreamer,
or just curious about the creative process,
explore with us
as we figure out what it means to be a creative
and build a community
that celebrates the creative journey. Let's get started.
Welcome to a world where creativity knows no bounds, where ideas spark like fireworks in the night sky.
Join us on a journey through the colorful tapestry of imagination, where every brushstroke, every word, and every note carries the weight of 1,000 dreams.
This is not just a podcast. It's a celebration of the wild and untamed spirit of creativity, where minds converge and ideas collide to create something truly magical.
So buckle up, fellow dreamers and creators. Get ready to ignite your passion, unleash your creativity, and embark on a voyage filled with inspiration and innovation and endless possibilities.
Welcome to The Curry Creative, where we empower creativity through collaboration and community. Let's dive into a world where dreams take flight and artistry knows no bounds.
Welcome.
Thank you from the brilliant minds of Ben and Sheran, a.k.a. ChatGPT.
Is that going to be?
That was great. That was amazing. I loved it.
One try and
we nailed it.
Yeah,
that was actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, so we're actually doing this.
We're doing it. We're starting a podcast, and this is our first episode, and we are going to be ourselves as much as possible, which is so hard with 4 cameras running and audio going.
Always
it's
worrying
so tough.
that.
It's tough. Well, you want to introduce yourself, Sheran, and let our myriads of listeners know who you are.
Hey, my name is Sheran. I'm a creator who loves creating.
I'm Ben. I'm also a creative who loves also creating.
And this is a podcast where we talk about creativity.
Well, we're talking about the intricacies of what the creative life entails, the challenges, the joys, the extremes, the highs, the lows.
And the process.
Yeah.
So if that sounds like interesting to you, so come join us right now.
Right now. No, don't go. Don't click away.
At the end of the day, what we're trying to do is literally this podcast is about us hanging out and starting this podcast, literally creative.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of like an Inception, like in the movie Inception. It's a podcast. We're starting a podcast because we're creative.
Yeah.
And we're being creative by starting a podcast.
Right. We are we're doing the things to be creative, and also we're creating to do the things.
Yep.
This podcast today is about the podcast and us being creative, and us saying that we don't have to create alone, that we can just reach out to other creative people and see if they want to do stuff together. Therefore, we're doing it.
Yes. Which brings me to, I think, a good thing to talk about right now would be our friendship, where that started and how we actually got to be here, which I think is just kind of fun. So my wife, Grace, she has a sister who you worked with at Grace Church, was it? Is that, or at least knew through?
Yeah.
And there was a Taste of Medina?
Yeah.
Is that what it was called?
Fundraiser event.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it was
right.
Taste of Medina.
Yeah, it was the Taste of Medina fundraiser event, and Rosie, who actually, oddly enough, lived in this very room. She lived here for 2 years.
No way.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny. It's all back to this room. So she lived here. Me and my wife let her live here for 2 years, and she's like, "You would really like Sheran. He's kind of a worker. He's creative, kind of like you are, Ben. You should totally meet him." And so Rosie told me that you were going to be there at this, and I was like, "Sweet." And then I remember us meeting, and we immediately started talking about woodworking and just everything, and we were just clicking on all levels. But it was such a cool experience in the fact that it was a cooking fundraiser, which is not something that I've been to a lot, at least in my experience. And then so the basis of creativity there. And then us being outside in summer and being all nice and dressed up was just a really cool experience.
It's always fun to dress up and go do stuff.
I know. It was so cool. And I think that gave it a special, I don't know, it just seemed more special than just a regular oh yeah, I met my friend at a party or whatever.
Right.
So it was cool from my vantage point of that. And then I don't think I saw you for a while after that. I think it was maybe even a year or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, has it been? Oh my gosh.
It may. I think so because I believe it was the end of.
Because I was dating Lizzie, so it's almost a year.
Yeah.
Almost a year.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah. But so then I think I saw you a couple times in passing at Grace Church.
Yeah.
Yep. And then this guy, he randomly calls me up. Why don't you tell your side of the story here? Because
I honestly forget what I did.
Okay. I don't remember exactly, but you had
right. I DM'd you, and then I said, "Do you want to collaborate?" Because I honestly because I have a woodworking business, and so to do stuff in the Insta world is pretty much collaborating. That's what you do. So I was like, "You want to collab because you have the woodworking, the arrangement wood shop." So
yep,
that's the best thing I could do.
And I'm like, "Why don't you come over and just hang out? I'll go to your shop, or you can come to my shop." So we both have woodworking shops. For those of us who don't know us from Adam, we both have woodworking shops. He has one in his basement. I have one in my garage, and you do that pretty much full time, right?
Yeah,
that's your full time job.
Yeah.
I don't do it full time, but I probably do 1 or 2 commissions a year. So it's not as I feel like you have so much more business acumen when it comes to woodworking than I do, but
it's just online.
Yeah.
It's all about online relationships. I know a lot of people use Etsy and stuff like that, but for me, it's somehow the other word of mouth.
It's so cool how you built that up. It's really inspiring, honestly. But so you ended up coming here.
Yeah.
And we ended up we were standing in my workshop and we didn't do anything but talk the entire time. And we talked about everything from creativity to past marriages and stuff, which is another unique thing that I think we both found out. It's I've been divorced. You've been divorced.
Yeah.
We both are on our second wives. And now I'm very grateful for the journey and the process of going through the divorce, meeting my new wife, who's I'm so thankful for her. Did a lot of growing up in between. And I feel like both of us did the same thing, which is we kind of lived parallel experiences.
Yeah.
And then that was basically what we talked about the entire time.
Yeah.
And that's where you told me about your creative group that you're doing.
Yeah.
Which I think is just so amazing. And then I believe shortly thereafter is when you had mentioned a podcast. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, dude, I've always thought about doing a podcast, but I've never found anybody who's literally this committed to want to do something. Actually take the time to set up. And it takes a little bit of work for me to actually get up and going, or somebody to be come on, let's do this together.
Yeah.
So you reaching out just by yourself to collab, was something that I needed to do myself. So I think it was the perfect match because I was too slow to do it, but you did it, and here we are.
Yeah. It baffles me that all you have to do is just say it. For me, it's just I realized I had to go hang out with creative people.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'm going to have a relationship with somebody other than my wife that's going to be rewarding. No joke.
It's so true.
Creative people need other creatives to share the struggles and the good times and everything. Because because we know what the process looks like, and it's better to like go through it together.
Yeah. And it's easy to get stuck in the isolation and think, well, this is all there is. There's other creators out there, but they don't really want to work with me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm either not good enough or I'm on a different level from them.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Well, probably not have enough followers and all of that stuff. And
whatever excuse you come up with.
Yeah.
There's some excuse that we tell ourselves that it's just like we're not good enough to collab or hang out with somebody else, and that stops so much.
It's ridiculous.
I know. Whether it's just like, what's the word? It's like there's a pride where we think we're either too good to hang out or whatever, which I feel like is less than people who feel like what's the opposite of it?
Insecurity.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, the insecurity of not feeling like you're good enough to hang out with somebody else. What about your side of the story? So like, what prompted you? Like, I know it's not easy just to randomly reach out to somebody, especially somebody that's kind of newer in your friendship circle, right?
Right. I don't know. I think just guts. Like, I told Lizzie, like, I gotta find some friends. Like, I gotta find some people that are going, like, like energize me. So like that was obvious to me. Like, even to her, she's like, you need to find some people. Like, because usually I'm the person who, like, around me, I'm the one that energizes the conversations or doing whatever or getting people to do stuff.
Yeah.
And like once in a while, it's nice to be around people who are on the same level and can get into something and create.
Instead of you having to
train them or teach them or give my vision or whatever.
Right.
It's good when you're like in that situation, but I like to be like a kid and just play and have fun as well.
I know.
And this is what this is about, right?
You're not necessarily leading, but you're giving your energy instead of just enjoying yourself or getting fed.
Meeting people who are at the similar levels in their creative journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like the Cleveland Collective group that my wife and I started, like that's supposed to be anybody who's creative, come and we'll help you get to the next level because we're a group who encourages each other to create. But apart from that, like I want us to just like be around people who we can just, hey, let's do this and we're doing it.
Yeah.
I
was just going to say, I think it's so cool because even if there's two creators multiple creators who don't feel like they're great, maybe they are all at a similar level of like whatever their journey. I feel like just getting together, even if you're not necessarily looking for somebody to teach you things, just being around somebody else, it's wild how much that energizes you and how much it inspires you. Even if, like I said, even if it's at the same level, even less sometimes. Like I just started learning guitar. It's like, tell me about it. Like that'll bring you back to how far you've come.
That's
and
so
stuff.
true. Yeah.
All that it's wild how that happens.
That's why I say like I like to have different avenues to meet people in different levels. So that's why the group is for that. Yeah. And then this is us like in the similar levels and just doing whatever. It's not to be pompous whatsoever. It's just like, hey, let's just do this. Like you've been waiting to do this for a long time. I've been waiting for this. And it's just the power of asking. Like just like and like I know this is crazy, but hey, should we just do a podcast?
Yes.
Right. Like it's like, oh no. Like, no, dude. I'm like, okay, cool.
Right. Yeah. Or no. Exactly. It's like, that's fine. You want to just hang out and
because I've like the people I've come across in my life, the amount of times that I thought that we're going to be doing something in the future, like a podcast or whatever, and realizing that no, they're not actually really into this. Yeah. Like this is being creative is not as priority to them. It's more of a side hustle. I'm like, no, I need to be creative full time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get that feeling too. It's like you get all jazzed up. You think you're meeting this creative, and then you like start collabing or whatever. You're like, oh,
right.
They're not. They just want to hang. They just they just want to drink. They just want to hang out, whatever. I had a couple of friends like that.
Right. It goes back to like us being young, trying to start a band. And going through the motions of having bandmates who are not who are not dedicated, and like dreams and hopes falling apart. Like literally, we're doing this at 36, and you like.
However old I am, nobody knows.
Literally, like that's why I love the fact that our wives finally get that. Not finally, but like our wives understand that these guys are going to just be kids. Like, that's what they're about to go and do. Have fun.
Yep.
Like,
it's so much fun.
You know, we might have a drink or two, but, like, that's just literally on the side.
Right.
Like, it's a cherry on top.
Exactly.
It's not the whole thing. Like, we don't go to a bar and waste time.
No.
We don't do that. We don't. We come here and talk about stuff, and I don't think that's wasting time. Like, we learn something.
What's great about this, and who knows what this is going to reach, what this particular recording is going to reach. Even if it's one person, it inspires somebody. Like, we're having fun just chatting about whatever, about the creative stuff. And if it inspires even one other person, it's like, dude, just the simple act of us getting together to do this can have such far-reaching effects and ripple effects.
Just for that fact, we have to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Just because, like, we are saying no expectation whatsoever, just two guys, you know, I don't know how long we'll have left to live. You don't know this stuff. No. So just saying right now is the time for us to hang out and just do a pretend podcast. And if it becomes something great, but if not, let's have fun while we're at it.
We're renaming it the Pretend Podcast. I love it.
Literally.
I like that. Oh, I'm not above that name, actually.
No, I'm not. But I think because of the SEO sake, we have to have some kind of creative aspect into it. The word.
Yeah. I agree.
Our people deserve that. Our listeners, I think. For them to find us, for sure.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. So I think like this is probably...
That's good.
I think this is a good length. I think to wrap it up kind of... I think the...
Should we wrap it up?
I think so. I think this is a great subject that we covered here. Where, like, the power of asking, just the power of like asking somebody else if they want to collab or if they want to be creative with you, especially because this is a creative podcast. I think just the whole aspect of putting yourself out there, besides just whatever you make, whatever it's like music, artwork, woodworking, whatever avenue it is, collab with somebody else. You never know what you're going to find.
Yeah.
And it might bring you down a whole new avenue of creativity that you didn't even know you would be interested in.
Yeah.
Like, I've always had this idea in the back of my mind, but it was kind of nebulous, kind of just like, whatever, you know, just talking.
Yeah.
But I think just the power of asking is amazing.
Like, we set this date to record. I'm too bad. I was so annoyed that you didn't have it in your calendar, but we set this date last time we hung out.
Yeah, it was in my calendar report.
Oh, it was? So you didn't see it?
Yeah. No, it was in there. Yeah, we had the release date. That was the 27th. Right? Yeah. Okay.
We just wanted to like say, hey, let's start this thing and see what it looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, I think the point I'm at in life now is, if I get an idea, if somebody comes to me with an idea, and it's my first thing is like, that's crazy, I kind of have to do it at this point. That's it. That's the measurement.
You mean if somebody tells you that's a crazy idea, you're like, I'm doing it?
No, in my head.
In your head.
I say that's a crazy idea.
Okay.
I would never do that. That's like, I have to do it.
You should probably do it.
I will do it.
Okay.
I mean, Caleb and when Caleb came to me about doing the thing in like a recording session for the album.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh wait, I know a barn, somebody with a barn, we can do this. And like, everything happened within like 20-30 minutes. I texted people like,
even with you, it was like so quick.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a week away.
No, it wasn't. It was like 3 days.
Yeah. When you asked me, I was like, huh? Yeah, sure. Like, I don't even know what this is, but let's do it.
Like, I think that the thing I loved about this situation is like you have to find people when they're ready. Like when because I think you've been ready to say yes. I've been ready to say yes.
Yeah.
And even Caleb, right? And Caleb Cameron is Gradient is his album. He's a music artist. I just want to quickly say that out. Shout out to him.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love the dude.
Amazing stuff that he puts out.
So
you want to give just a little bit of background about what you're talking about with the collab and everything?
Oh yeah. So we actually I on my channel Sheran Stories I have a video about what I'm talking about. It's about us three jamming at this barn that one of the people I got to know and now good friends with. But Caleb reached out to me because his album is launching and he wanted to do something cool, and my Sheran Stories was launching, and he said we should do something really cool, and he said let's jam and we'll record it, and I said that's a crazy idea. I didn't want to tell anybody about my channel, but okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Like, and within minutes, I texted Vivian and got like she said, okay, we got the date, and the date happened to be like 3-4 days from that point on.
Vivian's the barn owner.
Yeah, barn owner.
Okay,
yeah. So yeah, and then we did this, and I made a video out of it, and he did a cool launch and live stream out of that. Like, but we don't care about the reception just because we just did it.
Right. And it was so epic. I mean, so you also, did you text me, call? I don't even remember
I
what you
texted
did.
you. I pretty much told you to come.
Or wait, no. We were hanging out. That's what it was. We were hanging out that night. We had planned. Right? Like an hour before, you're like, hey, do you mind if my friend Caleb comes? I'm like, who's Caleb?
Right.
And you're like, he's this guy. You actually might know him. Like, I don't know this guy. And you're like, he's actually related to you. I'm like, what? No, he's not. So my brother's wife's cousin's husband, I think is what it is, if I remember correctly.
Wow. The fact
So-
that you remember, it's crazy.
It's bizarre that there's actually a connection. So by marriage. So anyways, when I got there is what I think was when you asked me, which was 3 days prior.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I don't believe you had brought it up.
Oh, that sounds like me. Yeah. You sound like my wife.
Oh,
It's like in your head you said something, but it actually never happened.
it never happened. I'm pretty sure, unless my memory's faulty, but I'm pretty sure that's when like you're like, can Caleb come? I'm like, of course. Like he's another creative. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then
I was
Then I
very
think you
like
asked me.
sensitive to the fact that like I was introducing somebody else. Like again, creative people are very unique people, and you gotta be very sensitive to the fact that like if you're gonna introduce somebody into the it might not always be a thing, but I think it's something to be cautious of. Because opening up to somebody about your creativity is a very vulnerable thing as it is.
It is.
So to do that, we already built a good relationship, but I want to make sure like he's okay and you're okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely okay, but like you don't even know.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked. And like full transparency, when you did ask me, my initial reaction was like, I thought it was just me and Sheran hanging out.
Yeah.
But then when you told me who he was, I'm like, hold up, this is another creative. Like, of course.
Right.
Like, why? Like, that's ridiculous.
So I'm glad I had that intuition to be like, listen, like we got to be careful about this.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm always like, even like, I want to make sure that nobody's hurt. Like I'm a very people oriented person. So I want to make sure nobody's hurt. Like, it's like my worst nightmare.
I don't know what it is. There's like the main side of me is like, I want everybody to be happy, feel good. Any interaction I have, I want them to leave with like this feeling of positivity.
Yeah.
Except when I'm driving.
Well, yeah, when I'm driving, I'm a different person too.
I feel like everybody is different when they're driving. I just always have to give that caveat because if you ever drive with me, that's somebody else.
I've had multiple situations where I felt like I've like what do you call? Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud, but like I've pissed people off behind me because like they pissed me off first.
Yeah,
and then like you end up like you retaliate, and like there's been times where like I'm supposed to take the right exit, and like you're hoping that they don't follow. I guess
Right.
such a wimp move.
It's such a wimp move. It's like, I just retaliated, and now I'm embarrassed, and I hope you don't follow
have to
me.
win this. But it's so dangerous.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
I haven't done that in a long time, but I did do that. I have to confess.
I know exactly what you're talking about. But yeah, we digress into our.
Yeah, this is
angry
going to be a
driver
long
syndrome.
podcast, I think. Listen, the way I think about it is, right, in the future when we have a decent podcast, when our listeners want to start, this is the episode they're going to be starting with.
Yeah.
Because this is where it started. So if it's long, it's long.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. I mean, we're at 35. So, but that, there's probably 5 minutes of fluff. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think we can.
45 to 1 hour is okay.
Yeah. I think we can probably start wrapping it up because there is a lot of, and we can probably cut this part out, but there's a lot of stuff at the beginning we should probably condense. Yeah. And so I don't want to have to do too much editing.
Yeah,
through it, you know what I mean?
I don't think we need to, dude. I think we just start from wherever
we're doing. Okay.
Let's just finish. Put the whole thing out.
Okay.
As long as it's funny we're having this conversation, but as long as the edits are good, the cuts are good, and I don't think we need to worry about that.
And we can throw that,
Obviously, in the beginning, we gotta pick out a catchy moment of,
Yes. Yeah, that's basically all I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I'm not too worried because this is gonna be all the first 10 episodes. Even I'm thinking, it's all gonna be just archival stuff for people to get to know us.
It's very true.
So that's why I'm not worrying too much. As long as we have the camera angles, it'll make it interesting. Mm-hmm. And we have something fun to say, I think. We're having a good time.
Oh, this has been a fantastic conversation. I mean, in the future, I definitely want to have more structure with what we're doing. Yeah. But I think this is what we had planned. We're let's have a general idea and then just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah.
And I know you and I have had great conversations just talking in general. So a great conversation for our very first initial episode of the podcast.
Since it's our first episode, we decided, because we don't know how to keep it short, we're gonna do a second bonus episode. So if y'all can get enough of this conversation, please head on to the next one. And this is the end of the first Creative Curry podcast.
That's right. We'll see you on the next one, guys. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.